Cynics would call it a sinner draft. Believers, or maybe those that are a little more amenable to stuff like this, would call it a skirmish heavy composition. I think that's the term, right?
Just say it for we coin flipping today for Fluxo fans. I'm gonna be honest, I am terrified of your draft right now, but I will not change my mind just as you did it. Natuno getting in there with the Draven, recognizing that hey, you picked Draven to win the lane, to win early. Let's start at level 1. Mano and Mano, forget the support, just me and you, Brunsy.
I love it, and I love that you pointed out Brunsy, right? Being a showman, House he's a dog. He's a competitor. Jojo, I think you got to feel a little like, if I'm Jojo, I'm feeling a little slighted that, Titan, the basically calling the shots there on red. He said, like, look, I want to play with a experienced support, right? He opted for Kuri instead of Jojo, even though Jojo has shown high highs. They won 2 splits together. Jojo, I feel like, has something to prove here as well.
Alternately, for Jojo, you could look at it as Fluxo is the one throwing money around, right? They picked up House, they picked up Brentsy, they're looking for local talent. Yeah, they picked me as well, I guess here. Brentsy, though, really losing out heavily on the initial trade. Ignite going down right away onto Natuno.
Yeah, that was, yeah, and I just guess to counteract Zai here, who himself has taken some damage with the Ignite having popped off now. Able to get himself back up here. But 1 summoner blown there, yeah, for Brunsy. I'm surprised. Very trigger happy with the Ignite there.
Yeah, so I actually don't hate it. I think you can actually use Ignite very aggressive like that if you're not expecting to win that level 2, level 3, and actually have kill threat, because the cooldown on Ignite's not that long, and you can already see it's almost a quarter of the way through here. Fair. It'll be back up by the time Brentsy's looking for kills of his own here. So I actually like the option there. My question is if Los Grandes can take advantage of this, right? You've got the Draven, you've got a lot of damage, and you know for the next little while, you win those trades. If you can get Ranger somehow to sneak into the lane here, you've got a really high chance of getting first blood.
Ranger, he's a facilitatory jungler, right? He loves getting his laners ahead. He's got 2 extremely strong solo laners to help out here in Lava and Hear It. But if you can get Natuno going on this Draven, if you can get Hear It going on this Camille, they can take over games. You talked about it, RMC. I feel like we talked about, what's maybe a prove it split for guys like Ranger, guys like Ty. Natuno, he's not quite there, but that is kind of the sentiment around him, is like what you mentioned. This dude hasn't shown us his ceiling consistently.
Yeah, and in 2022, when he came into the league, when BRTT left the league here, there were questions of who was going to be that next big AD carry, the spiritual successor, if you will, to BRTT there. And names were bandied about. The 2 biggest ones were Titan and Natuno here. And while I think Titan has stepped up and shown that, hey, yeah, I am a huge AD carry. I am potentially the best AD carry in the league here. Natuno kind of fell off a little bit. He wasn't that Furia super team roster that was supposed to win it all. They dominated the regular season and they kept choking. And I think right now Natuno, he too wants a bit of redemption, right? He was on that roster where they called them chokers. And now, with Ranger, they're seeking redemption against Brentsy, especially against the world's representative here from Brazil, who not only won Brazil, but had a great showing internationally as well. Brentsy won a lot of those 2v2 lanes with Seos.
Yep, Ranger titles under his belt. I believe he's won 2, maybe 3. I'll double check that. But Brunsy, he's got a title. Tay has a title. Jojo has 2. There's a lot of international and international equity on this Fluxo roster. Lava having to flash away from Desumus.
Yeah, full health is going to be fine. Just has to be careful about a potential regank here. And speaking of the jungle, a bit, Desumus coming through. Fluxo had really good vision on tracking where Ranger was for most of that first clear here. Los Grandes has little to no vision on where Desumus is going at any given point. And so that would be their first taste of like, okay, Desumus probably on the top half of the map. I'd love to see Ranger, like I said, really sneak into that bot lane. Natuno and Zai are pushed out currently here, and there are no wards down there to spot Ranger coming in.
No, not a ton of protection there. Lava and House, excuse me, trading blows back and forth here. Very much, House he does have Syndra nowadays has more scaling. This isn't quite as you mentioned that Victor outscales Syndra, and I agree with you. This isn't quite as lopsided as it would have been pre kind of the mini rework that Syndra went through, right?
Mhm.
She can scale a lot better, execute true damage, etc. In the top lane, meanwhile, not really a lot going on. These are two, very potent champions, obviously, but for me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I don't really see a distinct edge early on in this one. At least maybe not until level 6. And
Gear
Ranger,
6.
yep, smelling the blood in the water. He had the level advantage there a little bit. Overhear it, went right in, get the stun
Oh,
off. Really well done dodge there with the Hextech ultimatum. Outplayed, sir. Hear it, making his presence felt south of the equator.
so if you couldn't tell, we were kind of just stalling out talking about things till level 6 hit. And 4x4, perfect timing on that as well. Like you said, level 6 is when we see the action. Hear it. We had the slight edge in terms of experience, about half a wave experience advantage over Tay, and that's why we saw them pull the trigger immediately there. Ranger, you said he's facilitative. Yeah, and that was definitely facilitated. All right. They had the damage, they found the kill there. Tay has to now TP right back in. Fluxo, though, they do what they can, right? Which is the dragon. This is the slowest dragon we've had all day so far. 6 minutes, 40 seconds. How's his flash? He's fine. Yeah, so Fluxo, they just kind of go, okay, you take top, we'll take dragon for now. And I prefer the dragon, personally, in terms of the macro, but they're taking it so slowly.
Yeah, well, Brunsey is not there, right? It's
Yeah.
Summers and JoJo, and Brunsey just kind of, I don't know, keeping the wave in check. That feels like a potential misplay, but he did get the crash in, and he's going to have a nice spot to recall, denying Natunu some CS. He has only just hit level 5, so Brunsey's still with an advantage. See what he comes back with. About equivalent in power, you'd say. Noon Quiver, as opposed to the, I don't know, the Cutco rack there. That's a reference that some of you probably won't get. But pickaxe, 2 long swords, and a dagger. Yeah, I think about equivalent in power.
Different focus here in Natuno, with that quiver going to be able to farm a little bit better, a bit more mobility, but while it is the Cutco special, as you kind of call it, pickaxe, 2 long swords, and a dagger is going to mean you hit harder,
Yes.
especially for a caster style AD carry like Lucian there. So I think Bratsy's very happy with his back timings, and he's going to be able to come into lane and really start looking for fights. Level 6 also going to be a massive point for these bot laners. We touched on the fact that
Yeah.
both Drave and Lucian, they like kills, and they rely on their supports having the sort of CC to come down. So having that crescendo, having that tidal wave could potentially be massive for Fluxo on the bot side.
Mm-hmm. No, they're both really powerful ultimates that the AD carries can dish out, but with one sidestep, you can negate a lot of that. So, yeah, the level 6 power spike is big, but really for these supports, I think you nailed it there. There he goes, though. Brunsey laying down the hurt. Natuna maybe got a little too close for comfort. Zay might be the one that pays for it with his life. Dashing forward, there is Brunsey. JoJo going to pick up the kill, but Fluxo's bottom lane respond with a kill of their own.
I love that we're talking about what the AD carries bought, and we're like, oh, Natuno has speed on his side with those boots, right? He can run a little bit faster. He'll be safe. Yes, that was completely true. Zai did not have boots. And so Bretzi and Jojo just ran him down like the fish on land that he was. And now Fluxo will finally be able to get the first dragon. But we're touching on how slow this dragon is. It's almost 9 minutes before they take it. Herald spawns at 8. So Los Grandes, they got the first blood topside and will get Herald to trade back with this dragon here.
Yeah, it's coming up real good there. For Fluxo, let's see what they get out of these turret plates, right? But Ranger is going to grab that Herald. Let's see what he's going to do with it on the turret plate front as well. Now, Fluxo looking for something. JoJo doesn't have level 6, and he doesn't need it above and below. Dissumus in there with the Belveth. Popped Ghost, popped Smite, and he and the rest of Fluxo are going to walk away with a lot of turret, well, not a lot, but some turret plate gold.
My goodness, they're just bullying Zai. Yep, there's your response, right? Like, hey, you're going to take some plates. We're going to take some plates in the mid lane here. Quite a few plates, 3 plates on this crash here, but not all things are. Oh, actually, maybe not the third plate. Is the Samus or House going to stop this? No, they actually let the third plate go through. Interesting. Bot side, it was 2 plates plus the kill, so it actually ends up being very, very even. But if you're Los Grandes' bot lane, you're very worried about what just happened there. They can go back and repeat gank Zai. Zai is under leveled, and Zai is not 6. Sona is right now. We get the replay. Really, there's not much to say about this here. We already said, Brunsey, he's stronger in the straight up fights, and Natuno and Zai just kind of didn't respect it. You can see Natuno actually
No, too
stepped
far
up.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah, he went into that. You can't. Sure, you run at him faster. You can run away faster, but it's not about the running away between these AD carries. I love it.
Bro's saying, "Bro, don't you? What are you doing?
Oh, hold up there. Hold
Calm
up.
down. Don't you
Or-
try that shit."
You know
Get
what?
that
A
out.
JoJo reference right there. Are you approaching me?
Yeah. Yeah. That's you know what. Brunsey kind of captured the mood there. Don't try that. Don't try that. Now Brunsey, no items other than a Gale Force, but look, with the mobility that Lucian has, the lack of boots aren't going to feel quite as bad. Gale Force really nice on Lucian. You get even more mobility with this champion. Up a kill and an assist plus 5 CS. Yeah, Natuno kind of let his bot laner down there. I think Zai dying for the sins of his AD carry. Ranger in and around the map. Now he's got himself a Demonic Embrace, just straight up completed an item there. Demonic Embrace, really strong still. It's headed for some nerfs in 13-2, but on melee champions, right? Like your Lilias, your Maokai's even, this item is crazy.
Yeah, and on Maokai, I think that's been sort of his rush item. Lets him clear a little bit faster as well. And with those saplings, it just does so much work. Ty actually opting to go in a little bit onto Herod, but look at the damage coming through that Divine Sunderer. We touched on Brunsey hitting his Mythic. Well, it's been answered in this top side here. So all the pressure Brunsey gets down bot is being answered top side by Herod.
Yeah, and Tay actually, I thought he timed that first trade okay, right? Timing the stunning strike decently well. Ranger gonna throw out the twisted advance, not gonna find anyone though. Just kind of clearing space here. Dragon doesn't spawn for another 2 minutes, so really just jockeying for control of this river in the enemy jungle with lava around as well. Level 8, level 9 versus 2 level 6s. Man, Los Grunges responding pretty well here. Brunsey, now that they've got the boys back. See what he does here. Maybe biting off a bit more than he could chew here with this potential tower dive. Doesn't blow the Hextech ultimatum. He doesn't have the health to make it happen. Or does he? Just throws out a Q. Just cheeky.
Oh my
with
goodness!
the boy. In he goes. Flashes away there. Ooh, I don't know what he's accomplished, but it looks cool.
He's applying pressure. It's zoning. Oh, Natuno, can he get away this time?
There goes the tidal wave. Crescendo right back. 1CC responded for another. JoJo says, thank you very much. We'll take him down for the first time. Now Brunsey with 2 kills. Los Grunges bottom lane, not having a good time right now.
Who needs boots 4x4 when you can ride the wind with that Gale Force there? Natuno's eye. You don't get to step up anymore. You are just dead. The sheer amount of burst the Samus looking for lava. Not going to be able to find it. Lava's flash back up here. And I feel like Fluxo's bot side control is just worth so much more. They're down in gold, but it just feels like they're up in pressure right now. Dragon about to spawn as well here, and Fluxo can just keep on stacking that. Ty has been fine surviving the 1v1.
Yeah, but he picks up a Divine Sunderer, which is certainly going to help things. Hear it still a little bit ahead. For sure, he's completed his boots. Actually, just going with the CDR boots there for Camille. I feel like you don't see that very often. And even gutsier, I think, just because of the amount of damage that's coming through for Fluxo. I would have thought he would have taken some sort of defensive, but not the case.
I mean, Ty's not doing the damage, so at least in lane, I really like that pickup for how it works out in lane. We'll have to see how it works out in team fights later. And for Los Grandes, they might not actually ever really want a team fight with that Camille. I mean, with that Victor, with the Nami, with the Maokai, you've got so much defensive team fighting power already. Fluxo setting up for this Dragon, like we said, bot side pressure to come through. They've actually called Hear It down as well. No TP for Ty, so numbers advantage for Los Grandes.
6 turret plates to 4 for Los Grunges. So like you said, they're up in quite a few metrics, but certainly feels like Fluxo are doing a lot more of the heavy lifting here. They're going to opt to sack that Dragon. It will be a Chemtech Rift, similar to last game. But Los Grunges respond with the first tower of the game. Tay going to respond with a tower of his own. The team's just trading objectives back and forth. No, it is not Chemtech Rift, excuse me. It is Cloud Rift. I miscounted. Apologies. But yeah, it's been the Brunsey show so far. And then the question is that enough, right? This has been a bit of a theme of the last 3 games. One composition needing to push the pace, needing to capitalize on their early advantages. Fluxo doesn't really feel like they've done that so far. This composition for Los Grandes is going to outscale. It's going to team fight better, easier to execute. But Flux will have the firepower to just run over Los Grandes potentially.
Yeah, I mean, with the skill, I think teams are actually pretty even with that. But you're right, Los Grandes team fighting is just easier. And the one person who doesn't want to team fight Hirit is just crushing his lane right now. That CS differential here, 25 CS up here, or 35, pardon me. Oh, 25? 25.
25,
Not math. Customer. Is looking really, really scary. And Ty gets first turret, but it's because Hirit kind of leaves the lane a little bit. So it's a battle of trade-offs right now, and you can see that in the gold as well. Only 1k gold difference at 16 minutes. This does feel like one of the closer games we've had in terms of the early game and how that has panned out. And so far for both of these teams, we're seeing the good macro. You're seeing Stardust and Turtle's coaching come into effect here, and the big question is, where's the breaking point? Where's it going to come out from? Not here, as Flash get blown from Zai.
Yeah, no, not here. Just throwing out that ultimate. Still no boots for Brunsey. Just doesn't need him. 100% kill participation. The game is revolved around him. Gold pretty much even. Like you said, RMC. It does feel like one of the closer games. We haven't had quite as much action. I feel like by this point we've had at least one dragon fight go disastrously for one team or another. But has not been the case so far. Los Grunges still with the individual talent, able to weather the storm. Hirit with an advantage, and Lava with a distinct advantage as they are just playing Bush Wookie there in case Hirit tries anything. Oh, and he might be caught out here. Okay, sees that there's a ward there, so we know. Yeah, he knows there's something's fishy. He's like the rest of the map is weirdly silent. I don't think it's a good idea to step up into that bush. But look, these solo laners for Los Granges, they're up 30 CS each basically, and this is about what we expected.
Yep. Pretty much here. I mean, those were the big signings. If they didn't win the lane, that's when you start getting worried. If you are Los Grandes there, what did I pay all this money for? And that particular set of plays, that ward in what used to be the banana bush there, catching out Fluxo, it's going to cost them a lot, actually. Like, Herald being dropped bot side, the push coming in from Lava. They also get priority around this bot side here, and you can see Fluxo want to answer that, but they have to be so careful how they approach this. TP is available for Hirit.
Here comes the potential first big team fight. The damage graphic has gone up on the bottom of your screen. That means it's go time. Summer's taken out of the fight initially. Tay in, gets the stun off. Natuno able to cleanse away and get out of trouble. Throws out the whirling.
Hirit
actually gets one there. Hirit on the other side, putting down the other side of the pin for Los Grandes. Absolutely unstoppable. Tay was the first one to start the fight. He will be the last one knocked out of the fight. Triple kill for Hirit. Los Grandes wrest control of the game.
It's not a botched dragon fight, but it was near the dragon pit. Does that count 4x4? An absolute ace and a slaughter coming through from Los Grandes there. And look at that scoreline. Hirit now 4-0 here. An absolute titan. Los Grandes, they've got all the options they want. They can team fight. They can split push. And this comes off Fluxo being over aggressive. They're the ones pushing in. It's weird to say over aggressive when they're on their side of the map, but that's that push that Lava got bot side here. And with their composition, they've got a lot of bursts. They need to find somebody immediately, or they need to disengage. They all in on Natuno, couldn't find it, and then suddenly all the sustained damage from that Victor, from that Draven, and from that Camille come in, and Los Grandes just clean house.
Really good stuff. I mean, yeah, Ranger threw out that ultimate, saw that, look, they're going to try to push up here. We can get something here. And the width of the Maokai ultimate just engulfs, like, the entire quadrant of the jungle. And Los Grandes said, all right, thank you very much. And Hirit with a really good angle on the other side. Like you said, they all end on Natuno, basically. And he survived it. Very well done by him. You know, dropping the flash, dropping the cleanse, throwing out the ultimate, creating some space with that. And then, oh, what's that? On the other side of the fight, there's Hirit just making mincemeat of the rest of Fluxo. Really well done. They're up 5,000 gold now. First real lead of the game that we've seen, in 2 towers down in the bottom lane. And RMC, you mentioned it. Los Grandes, they've got options here as to how they want to play this game out.
Yeah, and Fluxo kind of don't. Like, how is Fluxo going to do this? They just saw what happened when you tried to team fight in a straight up, 5v5 there, especially in a choke point. But you can do the same thing in River. Maybe you can't find the catch, but Ranger can easily zone them out. So I applaud Fluxo for not trying to contest that dragon, just completely staying away for now. What Fluxo needs to do is get vision and get picks, you still have the Jax, you still have the Syndra, both really good at picks. Bruntsy and Jojo, if they can find anybody not, well, I was gonna say not named Ranger, but even Ranger, I think they might be able to kill him still. He's really only sat on that demonic embrace that's completed. Got a couple more tank stats, but with the Kinjal gem and the cloth armor and the Megatron cloak, but still killable, I think. So Fluxo needs to try and find picks to come through. Los Grandes, though, they're not giving them the opportunity. Perfect 4-1 split here, and with that TP to cover for Hirit, they can't even look for the dive.
Really well done by Lava, and with Victor just with the W and the Q just eating up that entire wave and the entire width of the lane. Fluxo just after knocking on the door, they say, "Oh, okay, no one's home. We're gonna go this way, I guess." Tay responded nicely in the bottom lane, just relieved all that pressure, but you saw the amount of time that it took him to do that. Now he's got the wave in a reasonable spot, but oh man, you were fighting a 5v4 basically that entire span of time, and Fluxo couldn't do anything about it. Los Grandes are going to get another tower here. Ton of solo gold there onto Natuno. He has clawed his way back into this game and then some.
Yeah, and if you saw the setup to that as well, Fluxo found themselves in a recurring nightmare. Los Grandes just replayed the exact same play where, okay, we push you out of mid and then we corral you, we'll cut you off, and you can't walk through your own jungle to defend that top side because the risk of Ranger catching you with that Maokai ultimate in a choke point is just too massive. Los Grandes can rinse and repeat. You mentioned Ty for Fluxo there, pushing on that bot side and Natuno answering top side. They're not equal. Natuno was getting the priority on that Baron. Ty
taking the fight there to Lava. It was actually going okay for him there for a bit. Los Grandes responding with here. There goes a tidal wave, but it's 2 more kills for Los Grandes. Desamis in some trouble. There's nothing he can do. The setup around him just absolutely disappeared. And to call it setup might even be generous. Double kill for Hirit. Los Grandes absolutely running away with this one.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say Lava Source Flush. It's just that easy. And it's the only reason why it's not an ace is because Howes wasn't present. Howes wasn't even ready for that particular play. And now Los Grandes, they find the kills. Remember we're talking about Natuno getting them the top side prio? It's converted into a Baron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the fact that a lot of this vision that Fluxo set up, you can see that little line of red up there was just completely negated, counteracted by Los Grandes just winning that fight. Okay, well, we don't need to worry about vision when anyone's dead. This is how this fight started. Lava finds Tay. Tay tries to go back in, but the real action happens right here in this river.
Yeah, and to a very large extent, Fluxo is just being baited by Tay. We've seen this over and over and over again. Fluxo, their rotations are putting them in really, really bad spots. They don't have the big team-wide AoE that the Nami, that the Maokai is affording Los Grandes there. Sure, it's slower than a Crescendo, but it's so much wider. And I want to highlight that we said Lava found Ty. Ty found Lava and opted into that fight. And not only did he do that, he lost it in the 1v1. Hirit's TP, by the time it completed, Ty already got away. And so that was a solo kill from Lava onto Ty there.
Yeah, no, that fight was decided, right? Tay opted out of that fight pretty quick because he knew that he was screwed. There goes the tidal wave again. Los Grandes not able to find Fluxo in the pinch point there, but that was the right idea. Los Grandes keeping their foot on the gas. They're up by 7 kills. They're up by 10,000 gold. They've got the Baron buff to boot. Yeah, it's gonna take a miracle here for Fluxo right now. Just there's so much damage coming out of Lava and Hirit.
Yeah. Oh
boy. Actually, they might have a pick here. Desamis going in, but sustained just too long. The damage was just too much. Lava's going to get the killing spree there onto Jojo, and Desamis went down as well. This is curtains, man. There's no way that Tay can come back. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Hirit. Oh, my God. Tay actually making this a fight for a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. No shot.
Oh, no. He didn't have the stun up. If he had that stun up a little bit longer, he actually might have been able to get Hirit out of the stopwatch. That fight was closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, considering Hirit whipped everything. He messed up the Hextech ultimatum timing as well and ate the full stun in the Hextech ultimatum. Didn't matter. The fact that it was that close shows you how far ahead Hirit is right now. He's 2 levels up onto Ty there. And I'll touch on that top side fight as well, because to me, that was Fluxo's best chance at turning it. And now that they couldn't, that's the nail in the coffin. Both Ranger and Zai had their ultimates down. The team ultimates were down, but the single Chaos Storm from Lava just eviscerated Desamis and I think it was Brunsey who tried to go in there. The moment that dropped, they almost dropped. And how are Fluxo supposed to fight this? Even if they have a numbers advantage, even if they find a pick, Los Grandes could probably win a 4v5 fight.
Wow, look at the damage on the left there. Ranger, the second most damage. He's everywhere. 8 out of 12 kill participation, second highest only to Lava, I guess. Well, no, Zai's got a 10 out of 12, but dude, that just shows you Maokai so strong. The base numbers still really high, and that demonic embrace, man, doing so much work. Brunsey just throwing out the ultimate, trying to get his team some sort of breathing room, but it doesn't matter. It's not enough. Zai's just going to heal him right back up. Lava's throwing down the W there from Victor, creating some more space, saying, okay, you want to push up? I dare you. Los Grandes completely in control of this game. And Ranger, I mean, look, just off that damage chart, I think we got to sing his praises a little bit. He's been a little bit of the unsung hero right now.
Yeah, you talk about redemption arc. He's definitely redeeming it. I mean, even watching Brunsey fire the culling at Ranger there felt like watching a kid fire a BB gun at a tree. You're liable to put your own eye out. If Ranger turns around, Brunsey's going to drop dead. So definitely Los Grandes is running away with this. A lot of it off, Ranger's facilitative play, as you pointed out early. It's his catches which are doing a lot of this, the team fight winning for the side of Los Grandes. Now bot side inhibitor down. Baron coming up in 2 minutes here. Los Grandes, they just need to take their time and close things up.
Yeah, they are fully in control. And I think, look, when you've got players like Lava, like Hirit, again, all respect to, to Yuri, but I don't think you're going to see, him, you're not going to see Lava or Hirit getting caught out like Yuri did. Now, granted, Lava and Hirit are ahead by a lot more. That game was not as close. This game is not nearly as close as the last one, right? Where Yuri was on much more even footing on the Azir to Piloto on Rise. But so even if Hirit and Lava do get caught out in this one, they're going to be A-okay. But I just don't think they're even going to put themselves in that situation. With the coaching of Stardust, just really good macro play from them. Tay doing the best he can down on the bottom side. He's going to respond with a tower. He's got TP. There goes Ranger. And there goes Hirit over the wall as well. Objective bounty claimed for Ty. Scatter the week there from House, a guy who's just, poor guy. He's just been invisible. A lot of this Fluxo team. We haven't even talked about Desamis. Man, this has been. Oh, are you kidding? House, what in God's green earth was that? House gets taken out of the fight completely. Camille just takes a massive bite out of him. Double kill in the blink of an eye for Lava. And this one is over. Los Grandes. The big signings turning into a big week 1 dub here. Unless they decide to play it really safe. Here it is low. He still got his GA up, but the rest of the lineup saying, don't worry, we will take it from here. TP and right back. Los Grandes taking down Fluxo. This is the team we wanted to see. And if this team keeps this up over the course of the split, the rest of CBLOL is in for a rude awakening, RMC.
Yeah, you're talking about us not talking about Desamis Disa who, right? Like just instantly evaporated just like that. Oh my goodness, Hirit's just playing with his food right now.
Oh, come on. You got to knock down the Nexus.